In today's video, we are going to discuss creating a test broadcast and streaming to that test broadcast. To get started within Production Truck, we'll go up here to the top left-hand corner and we will click Broadcast, Create Broadcast. This form that we'll show here is our Hudl TV streaming form, so this is in the case that we are streaming to Hudl TV. Under Section, we'll go ahead and type in Test for the section or the sport. Under Title, we'll go ahead and just give this a title of Broadcast Test. We'll give this a date and time of just a little bit in the future, so we'll do 4:30 for today under the correct time zone here. So we'll go ahead and hit Create here, and that will create our test broadcast. So now in top middle of Production Truck, we have our broadcast test. To be able to stream to a broadcast to our platform, the Hudl TV platform, there are two requirements that must be met. Number one, you must wait 5 minutes from the broadcast creation to be able to start streaming to this broadcast. And number two, you must be within the 1 hour before the scheduled start time. I scheduled this broadcast for 4:30, so I could start this test and live stream anytime from 3:30 to 4:30. If you are not using Production Truck to do your broadcasting, you will simply just want to go to a web browser and go to vcloud.hudl.com/admin. If this is your first time accessing the website, you will want to put your email and password in here. So we'll go ahead and put our email and password in. Once you are logged in, you will see a page similar to this. You'll just simply come up here to Produce and Broadcast Grid. From the Broadcast Grid, we'll go ahead and hit Operations, Create Broadcast in the top right-hand corner. And this will fill out a very similar form. So we'll do similar things here. We'll do Test. We'll just go ahead and give this a title of Test Broadcast instead, just a little bit different. We could schedule it for 4:45 in this case. And then down here towards the bottom, you'll see this alternate sources drop-down option. If you're streaming from a software that's not Production Truck, there are a multitude of them out there, vMix, OBS, Wirecast, maybe something like a TriCaster, any of those other options, you will want to come under this alternate sources with the push source selected. You will want to enable the RTMP information. Then scroll down and click Create. What this will allow you to do is it'll allow you to plug that RTMP information into your streaming software or your streaming encoder outside of Production Truck. So once this broadcast is created, it'll direct you to the top of the page. You could go Operations, View this broadcast. Or if you were on the broadcast grid, if we go back to the broadcast grid, you could locate our test broadcast and you could come over here and click the little information icon. Both of those buttons will take you to this broadcast details page. From this broadcast details page, if you scroll down to the bottom, you will have your server URL and host, as well as your stream name and key information. You can simply use the paper clips on the right-hand side to copy that into your encoder or software. If your encoder or software only relies on one line of RTMP information, you can simply just copy this option here. So it will either be one long address or it'll be the RTMP information separated into two lines of information there to plug into your software or encoder. Back in Production Truck, once we are ready to start this test broadcast, we must first go into what we refer to as test mode. So under this test button up here in the top right-hand corner, if we click test, it's going to say, are you sure you want to start this pre-broadcast test of this broadcast here? I'll go ahead and hit confirm. What we should see in the top right-hand corner is a timer that starts counting up here right underneath the test button. Here in a moment, our test button will be clickable. It'll be kind of live there. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we want to see this status pre-broadcast test stream started. And lastly, we'll see this pre-broadcast test message that has started in our program feed. So on the right hand side, if we actually go back to vCloud, if we locate this broadcast test that we have now testing to, we'll go ahead and click the information icon to this broadcast, and you'll now see that this broadcast is switched over to testing. So we can now see in our video player here, we now have our color bars that are coming through, and we can actually monitor this broadcast with both video and audio to ensure that our live stream is looking like we want it to before actually starting the live broadcast. Now back in Production Truck, if we are ready to go live, in the top right hand corner, we will not stop the test mode. We will actually just click live. and it's going to say, are you sure you want to start the live broadcast? We'll go ahead and hit confirm here, and you will see by default, the software is going to go ahead and automatically stop our test event, and it'll switch the broadcast over to live for us. So you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a stream is live status. We have our timer up in the top right-hand corner that should restart here momentarily. And our yellow pulsating dot will switch from yellow to red. And we'll all see that here in just one moment. Now that the timer has started counting and we'd see the red pulsating light, all indications are good that we are now streaming live. So if we jump back over to vCloud, we can now see, if we refresh our page, we can now see our status is now streaming. If we click the play button here, we can now see that our pre-broadcast test message that was there before is now gone, and we now have our live video and audio pushing to our platform and pushing to our streaming destination. Once you are done streaming to this test event, maybe you've done this for 30 minutes or an hour, you feel comfortable with that it's making it up to our platform and you feel good about where you're at, the last thing you'll need to do is to stop this test stream. So what I would recommend is clicking the live button again in Production Truck. It's going to say, are you sure you want to stop your stream? We'll go ahead and hit confirm. It'll automatically fade your video out to black, and it'll sit here and it'll take just a few seconds to load your video that it's uploading. Once that's done, it'll actually say that this broadcast is currently stopped. With all test broadcasts, I would recommend deleting those after you're done with them. If for whatever reason you want to archive them just to go back and watch your test broadcast, you could simply archive that video if you'd like to, and then you can, once you're done with that, you could delete it from vCloud. But if this is just a simple test stream, you could just simply delete that event. Back in vCloud, if you wanted to delete the event in vCloud, if we refresh this broadcast grid page, you can see that status is still currently stopped. So if you wanted to delete it from vCloud, you simply could click this X here and you could click delete, which I'll go ahead and do here now. And you'll see it'll now delete that from our broadcast here. If I were to close out of this and I were to go up here to broadcast refresh list, you will now see that that event is gone and it's just the other event that I created moments ago. That is going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching.